get a few people who believe and understand that my grandfather is seated in heaven having a good time. Can you just clap your hands and give the Lord a praise? Come on, can you do better? Can you clap your hands and give Jesus a praise? We're here to celebrate a life that was lived good. We might be sorrow for just a little moment, but we're going to rejoice and be glad because he lived a great life. Life owes him nothing. And so we're here to celebrate. Can we just clap our hands one more time? To Pastor Flores, to Bishop Norris, to all clergy, deacons, to friends and family who are here, thank you for being here this morning. Good morning to you. It's good to see you. I'm happy to be here on the 21st of December. According to the Mayans, this was supposed to be the end of the world. And when I prayed last night, I said, well, Pop, if it's true, I'll see you tomorrow. And if you knew my Pop, you can only imagine his response. They are fools, and if you believe them, you're a fool too. My Pop was a character, a comedian, but with every crazy, silly statement, he was dead serious. Dead serious. That's what made him so special and so unique. He was never afraid to speak his mind, truth, or give his opinion, no matter who you were and whether you wanted it or not. I really loved my Pop. He was truly a good grandfather and most of all a friend. He was there for me and my sister Kandice and even Ricquel from day one. He would always say to my mother, who's sitting right there, Ginger, if you need anything, call me. Although she rarely called, every time she did, he was right there. If we needed a ride, he was there. Needed school uniforms, he was there. Needed advice, he was there. Needed some shoes? Well, we didn't have to ask for those. He made sure all of his grandkids had a good pair of shoes. I'm talking about the hard bottom ones. If you kick somebody, you might break their leg. He made sure we all from ain't that right, Tammy? From the oldest to the youngest, we had a good pair of shoes. He would say, these people walking around here complaining that their feet hurt, that's because they don't have no good pair of shoes. I was so proud to call this man my Papa. I remember during my first grade year at a new school, it was Grandparents' Day, and I wasn't sure whether he was going to come. That morning, I was slated to do the morning announcements at my school, and as soon as I was done, I walked out in the hallway, and he was standing right there with his arms open wide and a big smile on your face. That was my Papa. He knelt down on my level, looked me in my eyes, and said, I am so proud of you. He never knew what that affirmation did for me at such a young age. It ignited a seed of passion, desire, drive, and continual achievement. I walked him from floor to floor. We had 3 floors. I walked him from room to room, from teacher to teacher, and said, this is my Papa. With him being 6'5", I was the coolest kid in school. Everybody said, that's your grandfather? I said, yep. Recently, I had the same sentiment about my Papa. He came down to visit me in Florida for my homecoming, and he was getting prepared for bed, and I walked in the room, and he was doing something so simple, yet so powerful and profound. He was kneeling beside the bed in prayer, and I didn't interrupt, I just watched in awe and amazement. He really loved the Lord, but most of all, he feared the Lord, and he wasn't ashamed to tell it. From the north to the south to the east to the west, if you talk to him, within 5 minutes, you was going to hear about Jesus in some form or fashion. And that's what I love about my Papa. He was unique in his own right. He played many roles. He was an advice giver, a prayer warrior, problem solver, veteran, business leader, and the list goes on. He was always there to listen. Wait a minute. No, I'll make that up. You got at least 2 minutes on the phone with him. And if his Westerns was on, or sports, you got about 30 seconds. You were talking to him, dead in the middle of your conversation. You want to talk to Diane? No, I called to talk to you. But yet and still, he was there to listen. And I knew that he was in the final phases of his life because those conversations got a little longer. And he began to call me. And although it hurt my heart to understand that he was entering the final phase, I rejoiced because I was able to spend that quality time with him. So what do we do, family? How do we move on? We be of good courage. We get through this together. We keep loving, we keep living, and we keep striving to make sure that his legacy lives on. Thomas and Finola will continue his legacy of collections. Thomas will continue to collect his trains and his Hess trucks. I had dibs on that, but brother, you got it. Finola will continue to collect his Star Wars edition collections. Finola found a life-size R2-D2. That was very cool. Quania will continue to speak her truth and listen always. Kandice will carry on Pop-Pop's boldness and straightforward attitude about life. Brandon will ensure that he doesn't become immersed in life, that he forgets how important togetherness of family is. Pop-Pop loved his family, and he showed it. Chris will keep walking tall, and that he will do, because Pop-Pop never slouched. Elliot will always be prepared for life, because you never know what life is going to throw at you. Tammy will make sure she has a conscious attitude about time and impute that into everything that she does. Because if you told Pop-Pop you needed to be somewhere by 7, he was there by 6:15, 6:30. And if you weren't walking out the door by 6:45, he was going to tell you a thing or two. Me, I'm going to continue to fear the Lord and not be ashamed to let the world know. I will make sure I will seek the Lord in all of my decisions so he can direct my path. There are so many ways we can carry on Pop-Pop's legacy and his memory. We will miss his stories, his laugh, his smiles, and most of all, his famous saying, "Some not meant for the house of the Lord." But famously, yes, sir. I am proud to be a third. I am proud to carry this name. And when I have a fourth, I will make sure that all of Pop-Pop is in him and that he carries it on. As I close, I want to say, Pop-Pop, life owes you nothing. You lived, you thrived, and you left a lot behind. Yes, sir, you journeyed well, like good and faithful servant. Amen.